What's going on, everybody? Brian here from Junk Space. Just want to take you guys along for the day, kind of witness the behind the scenes a little bit of what we do, and at the same time wanted to share 5 reasons why you should not get into the junk removal business. These reasons, they're the ones that stick out to me the most. Some might not be, it might not be a big issue for others, but for me, these are the things that just really stuck out and maybe overlooked a little bit before getting into it and starting the junk removal business. And the number one for me, or the number one, which should be obvious, is the job is dirty, right? Like you're dealing with junk and you're dealing with trash, really, like some cases, and it might get smelly, it might get dirty, might be dealing with hazardous materials, pulling out fridges where it's filled with rotting food and the smell is just bad. So yeah, that's probably the reason, what number one that I wanted to share. Don't overlook that. Don't, like really consider all the bad scenarios that you can run into when doing junk removal, because those are all possible scenarios that you're gonna run into. Like dirty places, things filled with feces, or pulling out bed mattresses that have bed bugs on them. If you get icked out easily like I do, which is pretty ironic, I guess, getting into the junk removal business and being so, I don't know if I'm germophobic, but I don't like nasty smells. I don't like bugs. I don't like, I get freaked out easily about those little things. But here I am still doing the junk removal business. Just consider those things. You will run into it, and it's going to happen. Whether it's your first job or sometime in the future, those are things that you're going to run into, and you just really have to think of all the worst case scenarios that you can possibly get into, because there's no limit what category falls into junk. That could be anything, right? Like that could be from something that's brand new that people just want to get rid of, or something that's been sitting in the backyard for years and now it just has a bunch of spiders on it or whatever. It just ranges from very clean to super dirty and nasty. As the day continues, I'll go ahead and share more as far as the different reasons why you should not get into it. All right, so here at the job site, I'm gonna give you guys reason number 2. Oh shoot. Yeah, Mark just pulled up with the trailer. So as I said, we're here at the job site. So I just wanted to go ahead and give you guys reason number 2 is it has a lot to do with labor. I know it's given and it comes with the territory. When you say you have to lift heavy stuff, like maybe you're just thinking, okay, picking something up and then putting it in a trailer. No, like the reason why it becomes complicated is if you're lifting items out of the property or lifting items out of a house, you have to be very careful not to damage any walls. You have to be careful where you don't, hurt yourself lifting this stuff up. But proper tools does help. Having back support, all that stuff does help. But you still have to be very careful when lifting items through a property, because we did have an incident where we took some cabinets out the house. They're relatively heavy, even though we took out the drawers already. But unfortunately, we did damage a wall and I believe a staircase or a stair handle. So we had to compensate the customer for that. We had to waive the fee. So our dump fees that we charge for the customer, we had to let him know that, hey, we know we did these 2 damages to your property. Do you want to go and run it through insurance for us to fix it? Or we can also offer you an alternative by just completely doing the job for free. And that's what the customer accepted. So just keep that in mind, right? Like if the item's too heavy, you have to make sure that you have enough employees. Usually if there's only going to be 2 of you guys, and if you don't have the proper tools and you guys are not strong enough to lift anything, yeah, you guys are just going to end up damaging a bunch of stuff and doing jobs for free. Again, it's a given. It comes with the territory, but really think about it, like how heavy things can really get, and think about like how much heavy lifting do you actually really want to do every day, because if that's not something that you really want to do, or it's not something that, that's something that you really don't want to do, or you not really anticipating too much where you're going to be lifting heavy stuff, you're most of the time you're lifting heavy stuff. And that's the reason why they hire a junk removal company, because either they don't have the tools, or they don't have the a truck, or they don't have whatever it may be to be able to get that item out of their property and to a dumpster or a recycling place. So that's why they hire you, because it's a tough job and it can't be done by them, and it needs someone else that can lift it up and get it out of their property.
Yeah,
Long
dude.
time, dude.
I feel like I haven't seen since last year, man. Dude, is it still flat or what?
It looks like it's all right.
That's the other side.
See, this guy still has some stuff in here.
Plug on his junk anyway.
It's like it's nothing to figure out.
So you can just pass it on to me?
I get experience already, dude.
Swift. Okay.
Say that for you.
All right, so
Oh yeah.
filled up so far. All right, so we just got done with that job. Oh crap! I was like, "Is there someone not driving this thing?" That super threw me off. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I was like, "Is there no driver in that car?" And then I just realized he was being towed. But yeah, sorry, that caught me off guard. But yeah, so reason number 3, and it is there's actually 2 parts. One is competition, right? So depending on where you're at, you might have tons of competition. And normally, if you're in a saturated city, you are going to have some competition. And then at the same time, not only is there tons of competition, it's so hard to set yourself apart from the competition. Like, in another business model, like selling burgers, even though you guys are both, two companies are selling hamburgers, one company can somehow change the ingredients or the quality of meat or how the presentation, the bread, all that stuff, and all of a sudden they can charge a premium. In this business model, unfortunately, it's just junk removal. So there's no way for you to really set yourself apart from the massive amounts of competition that you have. And some people don't really care that you invest in proper equipment. They don't care that you're properly insured. They don't care that you do proper background checks on all the employees to make sure that they don't have anything to necessarily worry about. They don't care if you're Google verified, if you have 5 stars. They don't care about none of that. All they care about is, I need my junk removed. It's worthless to me, and I just wanted to get it taken out of my site at the cheapest price. We're here at Prima Landfill, where these guys are making all the money while we're just coming in and trying to dump stuff out. So here at the dump, as I mentioned, I don't know exactly where they're putting all this stuff that we're dumping out, but it seems like they're either burying it or who knows. I don't know where they're putting it, but here, let me go ahead and give you guys another view. They're just dumping everything on the hill and then just burying it, I guess. So yeah, rather interesting how the landfill works. But I'm over here just observing Mark to see how he does backing up that truck, because right now he looked like he's struggling a little bit. All right, so yeah, we're here at the dump site, about to dump it out, all this stuff out back here. Gonna open this stuff up. Where do you put that, man? Yeah, they're just dumping all this stuff out here. Nice. That seemed pretty easy enough, dude.
We need more 2 trailers, man. I'm telling you.
I swear, dude, every time we roll, I'll play later.
You know where the in and out is? You know, I think we've been there a few times.
Yeah.
Man, stop reminding me of that.
All right. Just got done dumping all that stuff out. So, yeah, let me go ahead and give you guys reason number 4, and it ties into the third reason actually about pricing. And it's the low ballers. I'll give you an example. We got a call yesterday, someone inquiring about getting or having a job done, which was to pull out 2 full-size mattresses and 2 wooden bed frames. And we quoted the guy $150, which is about 1/4 of the trailer. And he was like, "Nah, too expensive." I was like, "Okay, fine, it's too expensive." So what we try to do is we try to save the opportunity by providing a lower price. And how we do that is we check if we're going to be around the area or in the vicinity, where it could be like a curbside pickup. So we found a day where we were going to be like 2 or 3 blocks away from his house, and we mentioned, okay, well, on this particular day we could come by and pick it up for $99. And yet still the guy was like, "No, still too expensive," and just hung up the phone. So yeah, that's the challenge, or one big challenge that I see, and why it's so hard to become successful in the junk removal business, if you're trying to really grow it as a business, is lowballers. Like, they don't care, like I mentioned in the third reason, they don't care about all the other stuff, like, "Hey, but we're insured. Hey, you know, we're 5-star rated. Hey, we're professional, and we won't damage anything." Or, you know, "We'll be responsible if you damage anything," or whatever the reason may be. Like, they don't really necessarily care about that, or they don't realize that those things are important until they get to the house and then something bad happens. All right, man, so we out here, just got done eating dinner or lunch with Mark, and wanted to give you guys the 5th reason. The 5th one is really just not knowing how to price. I know it kind of also ties into the whole lowballer. So if people are already lowballing you and then you're not even pricing it right, it's also going to damage you one way or another. So your goal is to be able to price things right properly. So if ever someone hires you for a particular job, you're able to give them a quote properly and not underquote them. Like, for example, if someone gives you a call and they say they want to or no, let me give you I'll give you a better example. So not only do you have to make sure that you're pricing things properly, you also have to decide on what you're willing to take and things you're not willing to take. Because when we started, initially we didn't want to take dirt and concrete, but we recently did take a job where it was just a dumpster rental, and all they wanted to do, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's a dumpster rental, we'll do all the work, but we're dumping concrete and dirt into the trailer." What ended up happening was we rented out the trailer for $400 for overnight renting, and the next day when we tried to pick it up, it was way overloaded.
Got a small problem. It won't lift, so I can't get rid of it. I have to manually scoop it out.
And the first ton is for free. Every additional ton we usually charge $50. So what ended up happening was we still hauled it away. We pulled it to the we brought it to the landfill, and when we dumped it out, it ended up weighing 4.5 tons. We ended up having to pay about $250 in dump fees, and we only charge $400. So those are the things that you have to be like mindful about, just being careful about, okay, how much am I going to charge for this? How much am I going to charge per ton? And then how are you going to be able to measure weight, like on concrete and dirt? I know there's certain ways where you limit them from loading it up to a certain level or level height in your truck, but if it's concrete and dirt, like how do you measure that, right? Or if it's all dirt, then it's a little bit easier. If it's all concrete, again, it's really hard to measure weight. So I've also heard from other people, other junk removal companies, where they say avoid it, you know, try not to do anything that has to deal with dirt and concrete, just because of that, because it just wastes too much and it costs a lot of money to dump it. So that's my 5 main reasons why you should not get into the junk removal business. Yeah, there's just there's a lot of challenges and a lot of problems that are very much uncontrollable. There's very limited ways for you to combat it, and yeah, it just makes for a difficult business. Like the whole pricing thing, like people lowballing you in an industry where everyone is trying to race to the bottom, that's really tough. Or you know, you're having to do jobs where they initially told you it's only a few items, and then you get to the spot, you find out that it's more than a few items, and now it's a full trailer, but yet they don't want to pay for the full trailer. And then you have to decide, okay, is it still going to be worth it for me to take all this stuff? You know, is it worth my time? Is it worth the dump fees? And then after all the expenses, how much am I going to be actually making net? Is it still worth it? You know, like, and then what that amount is, like, what if it's $20 for the day, or what if it's $50 for the day? When do you say no? When do you cut your losses and say it's not worth my time, I'd rather do something else, or reject the business from the customer because it's just not worth it? So yeah, those are the things that I believe that are reasons why you shouldn't start a junk removal business. So I'm gonna be heading home now. I'm actually gonna give you guys, so there's Mark, the trailer back there. On the drive home, I'll give you guys a bonus. I'll give you guys a bonus on the way home, on my 6th reason actually on why you shouldn't start a junk removal business. But I think it applies to any business, but more so into this for sure. All right, so finally made it home. It was a pretty short day. The job wasn't that bad, and it only took us about an hour to get it done, but I wanted to get home and film the last portion of this and share the bonus reason the bonus reason why you shouldn't get into this business, and it's your level of commitment. So if you are planning to get into this business, you really have to be 100% or buying into the idea that you are going to be doing junk removal. You're going to be dealing with trash, you're going to be dealing with dirt, you're going to be dealing with mess, you're going to be dealing with lifting heavy stuff, you're going to be dealing with bad customers, you're going to be dealing with lowballing, you're going to be dealing with marketing. Every aspect of this business you have to really be committed to, and just accept that you're going to be doing it, and you're going to face it and try to do anything and everything you can to overcome all the obstacles that you're going to face, and you're 100% committed to making it successful. Now in our case, I think that's probably one reason why we're not at the level where we would want to be. For example, like if this was your only source of income, if this was your only business, you would do anything and everything to push it to become successful. But in the case of me and my business partners, it's not necessarily essential for us to work on this business for us to make money. Like, it's more so we're just testing stuff out. We're trying to delegate as much work as possible and still hoping that it's gonna work. But just reviewing, the past couple of months up till now, I'm really starting to realize that we have to be 100% committed to make this work. So if you're someone who has another business and you're thinking about doing this as a side hustle or a second business, it's just, unless you're willing to put as much effort into this business as much as your initial or your main business, it's just not going to work, because it takes a lot of your time, unless you're willing to put the money in, right? Like, unless you're willing to pay for labor even though you're not making any money, We don't want to do that. We don't want to go that route. But maybe we might have to talk about it, and it's something that we might have to consider, hiring people and doing the work for us. But unless we're busy, unless we're booked every day, it's also not that reasonable for us to hire someone yet. So we're trying to get to the position where we're booked maybe 10-15 days out of the month, so that we can hire someone full-time. And even though it's a possible loss still, it's minimized because they're pretty much almost working every day. But at this very moment, we're still trying to get traction and get the ball rolling with the business, and that's where it's hard for us to make a full commitment to it, because we all agreed, like, yeah, we have other ways of making money, and this isn't our priority. And it hurts the business, right? It hurts any business that you try to start and you don't prioritize it, or you don't give it 100% effort. It's gonna feel it. If I was in a position where this was, I have a job, right, and I'm gonna quit that job and I'm gonna go ahead and go all in on this thing, then yeah, I think you have a better chance than we do, because you're putting all your effort into the business. You're taking advantage of every opportunity. You're door knocking, you're putting up signs, you're networking, like you're putting the hours in, which will eventually pay you later. Like for us, we're looking to get paid now, and it just doesn't work that way. It's hurting the business more than it's helping. So we're gonna have to think of a way how we can really push our commitment level more closer to the 100% from each of my partners to make this really work. Because if we don't get to that level, this is never going to succeed, because it just takes too much work. It takes too much attention. And then there's jobs where you go out and it's just a $150 job, or it's a $100 job because it's a curbside pickup and you took 4 hours to do it. Or you get a job like what we did today, which was great. It took us 30 minutes and we made $400 on it, which was supposed to be $650, but we discounted it. So yeah, it just varies. Obviously that's going to average out, but still, it's hard to accept those $150 jobs, the $99 jobs, just because you're like, man, it's not worth my time. Like that's what you always think. But if you're just starting out, you're taking everything, right? You're accepting every offer, you're accepting every job, every opportunity, especially if you're working for yourself, because you're like, that's money that I wouldn't have otherwise. That's probably the last and final reason that I have why you shouldn't get into this business. But hopefully it doesn't discourage people from actually starting a business. I'm just trying to tell you what's the 100% reality of starting this thing. Like if you want to start a junk removal business, these are the reasons why you shouldn't, for sure. And then if you're not planning to even overcome those things, or if you're not prepared or ready to overcome these things, it's just not going to succeed. It's just there's just too many things against you. So that's it. Hopefully this video was informative. Hopefully it helps you out making the decision of starting a junk removal business or not starting one. Or if you're already in it and you're experiencing the same thing, maybe you could share in the comments what you're currently doing to overcome those things. Anything that we discover, anything that we come up with, we're going to certainly share with you guys or share on the channel. Actually do have a little twist to the business model that we have. It's probably, I'm not going to talk about it now, but I am going to do, now that we're realizing that we depending on how much labor we're going to put, if we're not willing to put in the labor ourselves, we're going to have to make an adjustment to our business model, and that'll work without any labor. So stay tuned for that. We're going to play around with it, and I'll post it once we come up with it. So hopefully this video helps you out. If you can, please do comment in the comment section, share and like the videos, and follow us for the next one.